Alright, so it's been a while since I did an update on the Turbo FZR. We're about to have a play on the dyno. Got it strapped up. We got some fuel in it. Update since last time I had it running was we quickly ran out of the fuel pump. Basically, as soon as it came on boost, the fuel pump wasn't enough, so I've got a upgraded fuel pump now. Got a big sucker down there, so there's going to be more than enough pump. And yeah, I have actually had it riding around and data logging with the dash to get the lambda and make sure everything's looking good, which is how we figured out that we were out of fuel pump. Really good first impressions. Really good power, just needs more fuel. So hopefully today we'll be able to keep the fueling in the ballpark, and then maybe even turn the boost up a little bit from the wastegate, which at the moment it's staying about, sort of peaks at about 12 psi. So yeah, there we go, fun and games, dyno time. Right, well, so shit's gone down since that dyno run. Got it up and running on the dyno with just under 40 horsepower on the dyno, and took it to the track and rode it around successfully for a couple of days until, unfortunately, it ran a big end bearing. Now, don't know why. Well, I've got some ideas of why it did it. I think we had some oil supply issues, because both big ends, one had spun and the other one had completely flogged out. So I think that's probably half the problem with it. So going to look into upgrading the oil pump, the pressure regulator for the oil, and up the oil pressure. And then also Greg off Kiwi Bike made some comment about the poor drilling and poor finishing of the cranks, where this really sharp edge doesn't really do a good job of letting oil flow up into the big ends. So that's a solution for that. Outside of that, the thing went really well at track. Thermally, I think it's doing great. The colour underneath was prior to me running these old pistons out of the engine I got, which was pretty flogged. But cylinders look happy as, plugs look great. So really stoked with the performance of it. Even got the factory clutch to slip. So I think on track with some cool air, we're probably pushing closer to mid 40 horsepower, and it certainly feels like it when you ride it. It's pretty rapid for a kart track. So now is time to play with the crank and solve some problems there. What I've decided to do is, I was running a full crankshaft in it. Which one was it? This one, yeah. So I was running that, and that's a 2KR crankshaft, and they're 700 grams heavier than a 3LN crankshaft. And then obviously I don't have two cylinders, so it's spinning a whole bunch of shit. Really doesn't need to. So I want to try to take as much weight out of it as I can. Fortunately, the way I've cut my engine in half means that I have to keep the primary drive gear over this side, but these are the two cylinders that I want. So what I've done is cut the crank kind of how I want it, and then now there's a missing bit. So I'll machine this up, tidy it all up, and I'm just going to press a shaft in there, a 25mm shaft, which will do nothing other than simply drive the clutch gear. And that'll let me take about 2 kilos off the crank, which will help heaps, because the biggest problem with this was off boost performance. So there's a few advantages to it as well. I get rid of a couple of bearings. I won't bother using this bearing here. I'll just have, for the main bearings that is, I'll have main bearing there, and there. So I have 3 on the thing, and then 1 for the drive. So that saves me a bit of oil, which will help with the potential oiling issues that we've got. But I think that reducing the rotating mass is going to make a big difference. The other change that I'm going to make before it goes back on the track is it's going to get a blow-off valve put into the plenum. Just put it on the side there. because at the moment there's no blow-off valve, so it just surges the turbo when you shut the throttle, which isn't a problem. It's not damaging to the turbo, but I think it kills the turbine shaft speed too much, and it's really lazy to come back on boost. So I'm going to try a blow-off valve and see if we can do it the other way, which is dump intake air pressure, but maintain the kinetic energy in the turbine shaft. Yeah, everything about the turbo worked really good. I haven't tested on anything above wastegate pressure at the moment, which is about 12 psi. There's no point turning it up until we get everything else ironed out. The upgraded fuel pump worked a treat. We've got fuel pump for days, so that's good. So we've got the injectors are sitting about 70% duty cycle, so got a little bit left in them before we run out of injector, but yeah, really happy. It's yeah, 2 hard days of running, and you know, break some shit as part of the fun, fix some shit and try again.